Thank you, Ben. My name's Lorraine and I come from Dharawal country of the Wadi Wadi people. It's my pleasure to be here at the end of the conference, and I want to acknowledge all the First Nations people here and on their lands. I'd also like to acknowledge all of you for joining me at the end of this conference, because it's our job really to take everything we've learned here over the last few days into the future. I particularly want to thank those people with lived experience and patient experts for sticking it out and for informing us about how we can do things better. So the first thing to say is that we are listening. And I think that is exactly right. That's what we need to do. We need to listen. And we know that the factors contributing to disparities in outcomes are very complex, and many require significant systemic and cultural change. Look, we're not going to be able to do it all immediately. We're not going to have all of the answers, and we don't think that this change will be easy, and we probably won't get everything right. However, we are committed to trying so that our efforts will ultimately strengthen the reach and the relevance of our research. We have actually undergone a consultation process to develop an EDI statement for AGITG, and it's a statement of intent, an acknowledgement of the need for continual and sustained effort to understand and address the factors that contribute to disparities in outcomes for people with GI cancers in Australia and Aotearoa, New Zealand. We are taking steps to increase the diversity of our membership, and we've really started by putting our own house in order. I guess that's like starting from the top down. We want to have diverse committees, and over the past year, our board and staff have undertaken cultural safety training, and we're embedding this as an expectation for all staff. We're implementing ways to make it easier for people to participate in AGITG research through e-consent, teletrials and translations. And particularly, we want to start from the ground up. And some of the things I've learned this time is that we need to listen to people on the ground. We need to empower people who know what they're doing at sites to modify their practices that are tailored to their populations to enable their people to be able to participate on studies, and then hopefully share all of those strategies that they've created at their sites with all of us. We're supporting the RRR program and patients, and we're including travel reimbursement in all study budgets. We've updated all of our terms of reference to set expectations for diverse representation, and we've got a proactive approach to increase diversity as part of all of those committees. Trials coordinated by AGITG will be using e-consent to provide video animations to people to understand the patient information consent forms, and will also provide translated patient information consent forms based on the commonly spoken languages at each site. We got continued support for teletrials. We had the Ascend trial as the first example of a cross-jurisdictional teletrial with Darwin Hospital being activated, and we've committed to the StopNet study being rolled out as a teletrial, and I undertake to commit to the challenge Craig said, where we will have a teletrial site in New Zealand. We offered education grants to this year's ASM that prioritised applicants from RRR areas and also those with less access to funding or support to attend this meeting. We're really trying to market our GI Cancer Institute to rural and regional areas and to people who haven't accessed us before. And we're hoping to change the website to make it more appealing to all people. So I think we're getting there. We're obviously, it's really a long process. But we're going to measure how we do as well. So we want to not only do this, but measure and track our activity by tracking and reporting on all the training completed by the staff, the board, and the committees. We want to track and report on board and committee membership, for example, the number of women, number of early career researchers, geographical diversity, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and Maori representation on our committees. We want to gather and act on feedback about our approach to equity, diversity and inclusion through staff reviews and AGITG member surveys. We want to develop and publish policies that have a focus on equality, diversity and inclusion, and we want to document all of those activities. So I think we're really at the start of a journey of improvement, and we'll continue to strengthen our efforts in this space as part of our next strategic planning cycle, which will include working with other like-minded organisations like the other trials groups in Australia, with Cancer Australia, sharing what we're learning and leveraging activities that are already working elsewhere. We'll be sharing examples of activities on our website and through our newsletters and other forums. We invite all of you, and you actually are going to build this, not me, it's you. We invite you all and all of your partners and the GI cancer community to challenge our thinking, to let us know what we're doing well and to let us know what we need to change. We really want to hear from all of you and hear your feedback, and we really look forward to sharing our progress with you. Thank you.
Kia ora, Lorraine, and in terms of that feedback, we've got about 14 concrete ideas from the floor that we've not discussed, and I'd written down 15 concrete ideas from the panel, so we'll be able to provide that feedback. The next and last speaker is me. This meeting started from our land. So a gutsy challenge 4 years ago across the mountains of South Island of New Zealand. Many of the people who were on that walk are at this meeting, including Tim Price. And from that meeting, from that walk over the land, coming down, I think, a mountain, Tim suggested, why not have AGITG here in New Zealand, Aotearoa, and that's a great idea. But of course, our first thought was, God, I hope we don't stuff this up. And then over time, we started to think, well, maybe we could try to do a little bit more than that. And with the grace of the organisers, the leaders of AGITG, we were able to ask, well, who are we? And it became apparent that we're lots of things. We're multidisciplinary. We're people who design trials, run trials, support trials, fund trials, make drugs, have lived experience of cancer. And so we started to think, well, let's design a meeting that includes everybody in every session. And then we can really know who we are and we can all contribute. And then we thought, who do we want to be? And with the grace of the leadership, we have been able to look at that and reflect on it. And the answer is, I think, that we want to be fair. And a little bit like, remember that first day of med school or nursing school or research methods school or whatever it is, and you wanted to change the world, and I think when I look around this room, this is full of innovators who still want to change the world. I know I do, but I guess what we've learned in this meeting is that sometimes the world that we have to change is our own and inside us, and things that we may not have recognised about ourselves. So we hope that what we've been able to create here in Aotearoa is a meeting that hasn't stuffed it up, has helped us to reflect on ourselves, has helped us to be who we want to be. This purpose of my talk now is to hand over the baton to Sena Vatendust, who's the convener next year in Brisbane. And it's traditional, to pass a baton, and perhaps I thought, a beautiful taonga from our country would be a great thing to do. But I don't have one. So I stole this fork from the trade hall, and tragically, Sena must have got wind of this and had to nip out a few minutes ago to get on his plane. So I won't be able to pass the baton, but I will give this to an Australian who lives in Adelaide. Don't tell anybody in the trade hall that it's here, and this will represent the passing of the baton. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora.
Recording in progress.
Always when I'm about to speak. Ahuru kia rangi, ahuru kia papa, ahuru ki te ukai pō, whanno, taumai te Māori, haumi e, hui e, tae ki e. I'll keep this brief. I know that we've had that was quite a heavy last little session there. So I'm conscious of some of you heading on the road to do some extra travel. So I'll keep this really brief. I wish you all really safe travels in your journey. Hopefully the weather stays beautiful for you, photo friendly, and yeah, our roads are nice and quiet so you can get around quickly wherever you are going, back to Canada, the US, back to Australia, or anywhere, North Island, South Island. Safest of travels to all of you. Thank you for all of your contributions. Thank you for including me in this conference, particularly also to you, Lorraine and Ben and Stephen as co-chairs and all the organisers. But I'll leave it there. I'm just going to end with this karakia reflects reaching a point of satisfaction. I know that doesn't sound as, you know, it sounds like we've reached this point where we are now, where we're satisfied with how the meeting has gone. It was composed by Scotty Morrison, who is a well-known TV personality who has a beautiful grasp of our language, learned as an adult by immersing himself, and he wrote a book, and he enables te reo for a lot of New Zealanders in Australia, in New Zealand, which is so important for the revitalisation of our language. And so with that, I just wanted to acknowledge Scotty's karakia. And so yeah, this is about reaching a place of satisfaction with where we are. Ko ea. Te whakaiatanga te whakaiatanga tēnei te kaupapa ka ea, tēnei te wānanga ka ea. Te Māori o te kaupapa ka whakamoia, te Māori o te wānanga ka whakamoia, koa ki runga, koa ki raro, haumi e, hui e, tae ki e. Tēnā koutou.